Hey guys, what's going on? It's Anthony here, back again with another video, and today we're going to be checking out the John Petrucci Signature JP2C amplifier. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. If you'd like to see more content like this, like amp and guitar demos and reviews, be sure to subscribe right down below. Click the notification bell, leave a comment, leave a like, share this with all your friends and family. I'd really appreciate it. Without further ado, we're gonna now get on to reviewing this amazing amplifier. So on this amplifier, we have 3 independent channels with their own separate gain and EQ controls, as well as volume controls. And we have 2 dual graphic EQs that you can assign to each channel, as well as the shred mode, as well as built-in reverb. We also have push-pull knobs on the gain and the presence, and we also have 100 watts. We have a built-in cab clone, and we also have a switch on the back to go between 60 watts as well as 100 watts. So what do I think of this amplifier? If I'm being completely honest with you guys, it is everything that I absolutely dreamed of. It is awesome in every way, shape, or form. I honestly, for the most part, have no complaints, and I'll get into that further on in the video. But I first want to start off by saying that I absolutely love the clean channel. It is probably the best clean channel out of all my amps, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a massive John Petrucci fanboy. Whether I am literally using the magnetic pickups on my JP and Majesty guitars, or the piezo system, or the coil tap button, it just sounds beautiful and breathtaking. It just has a nice chimey sound, but it's also very glassy and sometimes even warm on occasion too. It's just such an amazing channel. John Petrucci really spec'd it out really well. And of course, how can we forget the amazing 2 high gain channels that we have? I mean, channels 2 and 3 are absolutely incredible. I have no complaints whatsoever in terms of the functionality, as well as the tone, and just how it responds to your playing. And it's one of those amps where it's very inspiring to play through, whether you are a John Petrucci fan or you're not. I mean, I've always been a sucker and a huge fan of the MESA Boogie Mark series, and I'm so glad to have one in my hands. I should actually tell you guys how I actually acquired this. So there was a guy here locally in state that actually just listed this on Marketplace like a week ago or 2, and literally, you know, I had my quad Cortex at the time, and I was actually seeing Dream Theater 2 days prior, and I asked him, hey man, like, can I trade you my quad Cortex for this amplifier? And then we worked out a deal and we arranged it. I drove to him, and, you know, case in point, as soon as I went and met with the guy and I saw the amp, I was like a kid in a candy store, because this is literally my dream amp since high school when it first came out. I remember being a senior and seeing teasers as well as like the release video and the announcement video for the JP2C. And I'm just so happy to have one in my hands. But getting back on topic though, what's really cool and what's a really awesome shining point about this amp too, along with the fact that you have 3 independent channels, is the fact that you also have 2 dual graphic EQs, and you can assign each one to each channel. So let's say you're on the rhythm channel, but you like your tone sculpted a certain way for that, as well as the clean, but you don't want your lead tone to sound anything like those. Well, what you could do is you could assign this one to channels 1 and 2, and then you can assign this one to channel 3, and you could literally sculpt your own sound for your soloing or your lead playing in a live scenario. And I just think it's really awesome, and it's absolutely genius, because the manufacturer's not making any decisions for you. You're making them for your own, and you're able to use the amp however you want. It doesn't limit you or restrict you in any way. And I think it's awesome. And John Petrucci is an absolute genius for all the years of experience that he has touring as a professional artist, a mastermind of Dream Theater, and just an amazing musician. I mean, talk about musicianship. I mean, he designed this with musicianship and just playing live in mind. And I just think it's absolutely amazing. But other than that though, you guys have heard enough of me talk about this amplifier. We're gonna now plug it in, and I'm gonna show you guys how each of these 3 channels sound with some different settings. We're gonna even boost it with an overdrive pedal. So without further ado, hope you guys enjoy the sound clips, and I will talk about the pros and cons afterwards. So now that you've heard this amplifier, we're gonna now talk about the pros and cons. Starting with the pros, I mean, the first pro that we have to talk about, and it's probably the most obvious one, is the fact that you have 3 independent channels with their own separate gain controls as well as their own separate EQ that's completely independent from each other. I mean, what more could you ask for a 3-channel amplifier where none of it is shared and you can just dial it in however the heck you want and not one is making a compromise with the other? I think that's just an incredible option and it's an incredible feature to have. And I think it's an important feature to have in a live scenario or in a studio scenario. So amazing feature. I could go on and on about that. The second pro is the fact that you have 2 dual graphic EQs on board. Like I've mentioned earlier on in my video, the genius thing about that is your rhythm tone doesn't have to be the same as your lead tone in a live scenario, and you can really sculpt your own sound, and it's letting you, the player, decide how you want your live tone to be, which is absolutely amazing. The third pro we also have to talk about is the fact that this amp, although I do still have to discover this for myself and see what it's all about, is the fact that you have MIDI capability. So this is something, like I said, I still have to discover, but I am definitely going to include it on the pros list, but it has to do with like MIDI programming in a live scenario. So leave a comment below on any suggestions on how I could utilize that. I'd be happy to learn from you guys because that's what's awesome about this channel is I get to learn new stuff. The other pro that we also have to mention about this amplifier is on the high gain channels, we have a pull knob on the gain and the presence control, which allows for different voicings as well as a little bit of extra push in the gain structure for each of the channels, which I think is absolutely amazing. And what I love about this amp too is that I never get bored with it, and I feel like I'm constantly learning something about it ever since it's been in my possession. And the other pro too is the fact that you also get the shred mode, which is kind of like, I want to say based on like a TS circuit, but don't quote me on it. And it's great for 7-string guitars, detuned guitars, 8-string guitars, and extremely low tuning. So if you're going guitar into head here, you can literally just go guitar to head. You don't need to put an overdrive pedal in front of it, and you could just put that toggle switch down and you're ready to go as soon as you got your things all dialed in the way you like them. And I think that's very convenient. Although I do prefer to use my own boost pedal with it in overdrive, I still think the shred mode is absolutely useful and it does serve as a convenience kind of factor. The other pro too is that you also get 100 watts and you can take it down to 60 watts. And the fact that you also get built-in reverb, which I think is super cool. And most of all, and most importantly, I mean, all 3 channels are just excellent. I have no complaints in terms of the gain structure or the way the clean channel is voiced. It's just absolute perfection for, you know, players like us and for people that are massive John Petrucci fans and just modern metal and classic metal fans alike. I mean, it's a Mesa Boogie Mark amp, but with a modern twist, and I absolutely love it. So now that you've heard me talk about the pros of this amplifier, what are the cons? Well, the first con that we have to talk about is the price. I mean, brand new, this is $3,659 before tax. That is a very expensive amplifier. Could the price be partially because of the name that's attached to it? It's very well possible. But I can tell you guys this right now, that the quality and the build quality and the sound quality and all the features and goodies that you're getting in this amplifier, as well as the performance, are 100% worth every penny. I have no complaints over this amplifier. And honestly, even though I bought this used within a trade deal and whatnot, I absolutely say if you're gonna pick one of these up, definitely look on the used market because you could find them for around $2,500 to $2,900, give or take. And if you even get the foot switch with it, which I'm pretty sure you do, it's an even better deal. The second con that we also have to talk about with this amplifier is the fact that it's not a very forgiving amp. And it's not a very set and forget type of amp when it comes to dialing it in. If you are a complete beginner, I would not recommend this amp. And not because it's bad by any stretch of means, it's obviously incredible, but it's also very expensive. But besides even price, the way you have to deep dive into getting to know its personality and understanding the graphic EQ and all the parameters. It's something where this is the type of amp where you really got to get to know it. And it's not like an EVH 5153 Stealth or a 6505 where you could just set everything at like a certain threshold and then you're done and you could plug all your guitars in and then you're good to go with every gig. This is the type of amp where even when I change guitars, I have to make changes on each channel. It's not a very forgiving amp. You hear every little nuance of a difference, and it's very transparent with your pickups as well as the way you play. So if you're somebody that's a complete beginner, I definitely don't recommend this. And for those that have never played a Mesa Boogie Mark amp, whether it be the Mark 2C Plus, the Mark 4, or the JP2C, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about if you guys have played those. But if you haven't, it's something that you will have to learn and you will have to get to know its personality. So take that for what it's worth. The third con that I do have to talk about and address though is I do wish that there was a main master volume on board. Now, don't get me wrong. I love that each channel has its own master volume in the sense that like you can make your lead channel louder than your rhythm channel and you can make your clean channel louder to compensate for the volume difference. I think that's absolutely genius. But I do wish there was an overall master volume to where when you're setting your thresholds for each of these channels, you could just turn up the main master volume without having to, compromise or even having to, not compromise, but without having to redial the volume on each of your channels when you do get to the venue or a gig. But other than that, that's just me splitting hairs for you guys. I'm extremely happy with the amplifier nonetheless though. And even with all the things and all the cons that I have mentioned, take them with a grain of salt. This is an exceptional amplifier. I think this will sum it up for the cons, and I will give you guys my overall final thoughts. So wrapping up my final thoughts, I'm giving this amplifier a 9.5 out of 10 guitar picks. This amplifier, like I said, is absolutely exceptional. All three channels are just excellent. The way they're voiced, I love how both channel 2 and 3 are voiced the same, so that way you're not compromising for either your rhythm or your lead tone, but you still get the same character that just makes this amp so unique and amazing. And I love that you also get the flexibility of the 2 dual graphic EQs. You get the shred mode, you get your built-in reverb. It's just absolutely amazing. Whether you are a John Petrucci freak like myself or not, I absolutely recommend trying out this amplifier. I think you will absolutely enjoy it if you're a hard rock or you're a metal player, whether you're a classic or a modern type of metal player. I just absolutely love this amplifier, and it's easily one of Mesa Boogie's best amps ever created, hands down. That being said, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe right down below. Leave a comment. What did you guys think of the Mesa Boogie JP-2C? Do you think it's worth every penny? Do you guys think it's overpriced? Do you prefer another Mesa Boogie amplifier? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them, and I'd love to get a discussion going. So don't forget, I will also be shooting this out with the Crab Marcus here between now and then. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. Without further ado, I'm Anthony DeFilio, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.